topic, I would like to take the topic of array. Array statement, then initializing and accessing to the array, initializing multi-dimensional array, then array contiguous memory, what are the disadvantages and the advantages of an array, then finally some real-time example or real-time application common programming error. Let's start with array concept. As a definition, it says an array is defined as finite ordered collection of homogeneous data stored in contiguous memory location. So we can use an array to store a large amount of data or a collection of same kind of data with a single name. Normally we are using some different types of data with some different name or unique name for all the different data. Here, instead of using a different or unique name for each and every data, if it is in the same kind of data, then we can assign a common name for all and we can use in our memory. So that is the advantages of using an array. For example, in our class, nearly 55 students are available. Then for all the 55 students to store the register number, each and every time we don't want to find out a unique name to hold the register number. Why? Because all the 59 coming under the same category. So better we can go for array. So we can mention the array name as register number. We can store all the 55 register number sequentially or in a continuous fashion. So when we are saving that values or inside the memory, to at any time if we want to retry it, we are using the index number to access that element. So the index number it starts with a 0 and ends with n minus 1. Need for arrays used to represent a list of numbers or names, or we can use a two-dimensional array, two-dimensional, or you can use the data in a three-dimensional way, or if you have more than one dimension, it is multi-dimensional array. And also important data structure in any programming language. Yes, we all know what is data structure. Normally data structure means if you want to store the data in an efficient way, or if you like to organize your data in a proper way, then for that we are using some particular concept. One of the data structure is array. This is also it's one of the efficient techniques to store our data. And the definition it says it's a collection of elements of similar data types, and each element is located in separate memory locations. Each array element share a common name that we discussed. Some of the characteristics of array. All elements in the array share a common name. It is one of the important thing we need to highlight in an array. Second one, for every data, we know that a number of data we are using to store in a common name. So to retrieve the data, we need some identification. So each and every data we are holding or we are just putting it with some index number. The index number it starts from 0. Index, or you can say element number of an array, plays vital role for calling each element. Yes, specific array elements can be modified. Then the next character is value of array element can be assigned to the variables, and the array element stored in continuous memory location. So if you are specifying that a of 5, a is the array name, and you are using to store, you are specifying that you need 5 space to store some 5 elements. So all the 5 elements just like that it will not allocate. Continuously we can able to store all the data. Okay, then this is the example you can say for array int marks of 15. So the meaning of int is a data type. So we are going to store some 15 integer type of data, and all the 15 data we are assigning a common name that is marks. That's the way we are representing an array. If you are not using this array concept, then for each and every marks, like 15 marks, we need a separate space like mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, mark 4, mark 5. Like we need a 15 unique name to hold that 15 marks. Okay, so instead of representing or instead of using that different or unique name, we are using a common name as marks, and in bracket we are specifying that 15. So it means 15 space it allotted to store the marks even it is an integer type. Okay, if it is the same kind of data, then it's possible to store the data. So this is the way of declaring it into number of 35. Another one example is means 35 spaces is allotted to store a number category. Then char ch of 10. This is another one example. Okay. Same way, if you want to access an array elements, what is the way of accessing? In which location? Continuously, if you have 5 elements from 0 to 4, then in third position, what the element you have? If you want to access means the particular array name and the position or the index number. If you are specifying means you will get an element which you want to access it, that you can able to access into my data of 20. It means in the my data variable in the array name we are allocating 20 spaces and start from 0 to 19. Okay, so this is the exact representation to say the array a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3 up to a of n minus 1. Then we have some types. One-dimensional array, two-dimensional array. It is more than two-dimensional. We have, in essence, it can simply call it as multi-dimensional array. Yes. One-dimensional array. One-dimensional array means only one column, or sorry, one row we are assigning to store all the data. For example, int a of 5. Continuously we are allocating a space. We are giving a unique name of that particular array is a, and we are allocating 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 5 spaces is for the particular variable, particular array name was a. That's for one-dimensional array. If the same it is two-dimensional array. So I hope the one-dimensional array already you might learned. So I'm just going for this two-dimensional array. In two-dimensional array, in both directions or both dimensions we have to focus, row as well as column. Same like table. We have to focus a row as well as column. That's the meaning of two-dimensional array. Okay. So if you are seeing this, we have 3 rows and 4 columns. So this is one of the example for two-dimensional array. Rows and columns we are focusing. So if you want to access this particular value like 0 and 1, okay, whatever the value we placed over here, this one here, how to access, what is the positions? Actually this is a row 0. So 0 cross 1, or if you are representing row 1, row 2, row 3 means, so 1, 2, that is the exact position to access this value. We know in array with the index number it starts from 0, 1, 2. Okay, so in the way you can represent here also, here it is 0, then it comes 1, then the third one is 2. Okay, here also it is 1, 0, 0, then 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you want to access this position, so it is 0, 0, 0th row and first column. Okay, this is called two-dimensional array. This is the example. Two-dimensional array we are representing two subscript operator we are using. If you have only one subscript operator, then only one row is allotted to store all the continuous values. But instead, if you are using int c of 2 and 3, so 2 rows and 3 columns they are allotted. 2 rows, 3 columns. So 130 is the first value. If you have a table, then in the first row, in the 0th row you will get 130, and in the first row you will you have the number like -1, 5 and 9. example I would like to explain you for two-dimensional array. So as usual, we know to initiate our process, or if you are trying to write a C programming, then the first line you have to mention the header file. So we are using hash into stdio.h. Then without a main method, we can't able to execute any of the program. So we are using the main method. Then the declaration part we have. So whatever the thing we are going to use in our program lines, whatever the variable names are in here, the term is array. So which array name you would like to use, that we have to declare in prior. That's the line next to the main function. We have a declaration part. So here they are focusing some float point numbers like float a of 2, 2, b of 2, 2, result 2, 2. So it means we need a space of 2 rows and 2 columns. Same b also next set of another one array name is b. Then also we are allocating 2 rows and 2 columns. Finally at the result we have 2 rows and 2 columns. This is the way we are declaring it. Then we know if you want to display anything to the out, or for the output functions we are using printf. So in printf we are using enter the elements of the first matrix. First time I need 0, one pointer I am using it for 0, another one point for j, and it is again 0, 0, checking the condition 0 is less than 2, yes, the j is 0 is less than 2, yes, again just a minute here. So we declared that in a table it is a two-dimensional array. So we have 2 rows, 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, here it is 0, this one is 1. Okay, here it is 0, it is 1. Okay, the array name is what? Here used the array name is A. So this array name is A. Same way, another one array is B. We are allocating 2 rows and 2 columns. 2 rows and 2 columns. The first value is 0. Then we have 1. Here we get 0th row and first row. Okay, then again for result, another one array we are using for result. Same. Now first line, enter the elements of the first matrix. So it will display the output first line, enter the elements of the first matrix. Okay, then we have two for loop. Why? Because we need to do the calculations part. So first I is equal to 0 and j is also 0. This row I am using I variable. Here for row I am using I, and for column I am using j. So first time I am focusing 0, 0. Both, then the value is I plus 1 and j plus 1. The same thing only it will store in I and j. See, first time it will a11 is equal to 2. So the calculation is a11, then a12, then 21 and 22. A11 in a sense I want the first row, first column. Okay, actually here the representation usually in array we have 0th index, and the next one we have first index. Okay, the same thing here, I want to print A11. It means in the array A, first row, first column, what will be the answer here? This one. Okay, A11, to display that only I am using I is equal to 0 at the beginning. So I am incrementing by 1, right? I am just using the statement like 0, I plus 1. So 0 plus 1, it is 1. So the first format specifier I am using here, it is integer. And the second format specifier is also integer, so it will print A11. So enter A11. So that's the output it shows, like enter A1. I am typing simply 2. Okay, for example, I am typing 2. Then that 2 will be stored in this I and j. I and j means 0 and 0 here. It will print 2. Okay, then the j value it will increment. The j value it will increment. So in the 0th, j is equal to 1. So 0, 1 here. Second value which I have typed is 0.2 by 0.5. Okay, the first row, second column, 0.5 I typed. Okay, so here it is 0.5. Okay, so the way the first matrix over, same the next again, whatever the value you want to type based on it, it will repeat it again and again. Why? Because we used for looping statement. Same comparisons. Once the j get failed, so again it will increment. I starts incrementing by 1. So once I and j get failed, it come out of the loop and it will start typing or getting the elements of second matrix. So that is B matrix. Same logic once again. Okay, finally to display that we are using A of I comma j and B of I comma j, both it will add the final answer in the part of display. It will print all those things. Okay, that's the way actually we are using two-dimensional array. In two-dimensional array, two subscript operator we are using. So both subscript operator, the index number it start from 0 only. We are focusing the subscript after 2 means 2 rows and columns. So considering it is row and column. If it is one-dimensional array, we are using only one sequence numbers. Sequentially, continuously we are arranging, but here we are focusing rows as well as column. That's the thing we have in array. Thank you.